Are you struggling with pull-ups? Or maybe you're stuck after your first rep? Then I'm going to show you exactly how to go from 0 pull-up to 10, then 20, and even doing the muscle up eventually. This video is your complete pull-up guide, and here is what you're going to learn. First, we're going to talk about how to crush your very first pull-up. Then we'll address what's the best equipment for pull-up beginners. And then we'll go over how to keep progressing rep after you've completed your first pull-up. After that, we'll cover how to double your numbers once you hit 5 pull-ups so you don't stay stuck at a plateau. And then eventually we'll talk about the final boss move, turning your pull-ups into a muscle up. So stay tuned and let's dive in. If you can't do a full pull-up yet, then this video is for you. I'm Nicholas, the founder of Online Calisthenics, and today we're going to discuss how to get your full pull-up without doing any of the guesswork. First, let's remember that pull-ups are the gold standard of upper body strength. They're challenging, humbling, but wildly rewarding. And whether you're already training or just getting started, mastering the pull-up is a must. Your back is the biggest muscle group in your upper body, so ignoring it isn't an option. And nothing targets the back better than a well-executed pull-up. But here's the catch. Most people don't really know how to actually train for a pull-up. But the good news is there's a clear and progressive path that definitely works. So let's break it down and get your first pull-up. First, you want to start with the standing pull-up. It's going to be a horizontal pull-up, and it's going to help you activate your back and shoulder blades at the same time. So find a lower bar or a stand in front of a doorway with the door open. Grab the doorway of the bar and pull yourself forward and back. The idea is that you want to keep your back straight as you're pulling forward and back. The key is to learn to initiate the movement with your shoulder blades and not your arm. Think that the shoulder blades have to pull in, so inwards as you move forward to the bar, and glide forward, so away from you as you're moving away from the bar. Go for 5 to 10 repetitions per arm and do 3 to 5 sets. And once that feels easy, move on to the next movement. And the next progression is going to be Australian pull-ups, also known as inverted rows. Get under a waist-high bar, so something that's not too high, so that you can do a horizontal pull. You want to keep your body in a straight line and pull your chest to the bar and go back down. Focus on pulling your shoulder blades together again when you get to the top of the movement, and let them glide back forward and apart as you go lower. Make sure to tuck your pelvis in, engage your glutes, and avoid arching. You want a straight body throughout the whole range of motion of the movement. Go for 5 to 10 reps, do 3 to 5 sets. The next progression will be the dead hang. And grip strength and shoulder activations are a key element for pull-ups, and the dead hang is going to do exactly that. So hang from the bar with your shoulders down and active. Don't let your neck sink into your shoulder. That is not allowed. Dead hangs will train your grip and prepare your joints. Make sure that when you grip the bar, you use what we call a false grip or semi-false grip. So don't let your wrist sink into the hole. You want to make sure that the top of your wrist is looking to the ceiling as much as possible. That's going to activate your forearms a lot. Once you get good at dead hangs, you want to add the next progression, which is the hanging shrugs. It's a small but mighty movement that will strengthen your back and get your scapula or shoulder blades moving properly. So hang from the bar, keep your arms straight. That's a very important key. So think of it as you're trying to bend the bar back while you're hanging all the way at the bottom of the hang, and then bend the bar forward as you are trying to get up. Keep your arms straight all the way, so it's only your shoulder capsule that's moving through the movement. It's going to feel like a short range of motion, and that's the whole point. Make sure to do 5 to 10 shrugs and do 3 to 5 sets, and you can also add them to your dead hang routine when you're ready. You could combine Australian rows, dead hangs, and hanging shrugs. That's a good trio to practice to get stronger. Once you master these movements, move on to the next progression, a negative jump pull-up. So the idea here is to use assistance either from your legs or using a box or a chair to get high on the bar, get the bar under your chin, and make sure to practice the negative portion as slow as possible. Don't let your elbows cave in as you're doing the movement, because that will kill your back activation. So keep them rather spread apart on the negative portion. Keep your core tight, your pelvis tucked back, and make sure that you control every bit of the movement. This is everything. You can start with just 3 reps, but do enough sets. So start with 3 to 10 reps depending on your level, and do 3 to 5 sets. Once you master this progression, then you can move on to the next one, which is the band assisted pull-ups. The goal of this is to practice your full range of motion. Grab a resistance band, loop it around the bar, and pull it under your feet. The band will help you, but don't cheat. Make sure that you still feel your muscles working. So adjust the band's thickness so that it's not too much assistance and the work feels hard. Aim for 5 to 10 reps and do 3 to 5 sets here again. Once you master all of the assisted variations of the pull-up, then you're ready to test out your full pull-up. But sometimes it will be hard to go all the way up and all the way down, even if you master the assisted variations. So if you can't get all the way up yet, you can start with halfers or little shorties. The idea is to go from just below a 90-degree elbow bend to just above it. So you start about here, and then you go a little bit under, and then a little bit over, and you work your way up to full range of motion as you progress into that movement. The idea is that the smaller reps will help bridge the gap until you can do the full range of motion. So now let's recap some key pointers for your full pull-up progression. Make sure to start with a variation that you can do today. Master that level before you move on to the next one. You got to feel very strong into the variation that you're practicing before you move forward. Stick with the 5 to 10 reps range and 3 to 5 sets. It's a great start, and obviously start to max out those range. So 10 reps, 5 sets is a good way to get started. You can also mix up that rep scheme with some pyramid training where you would go from 5 to 8 reps and lower 1 rep at a time on each set. So you would start with 8 pull-up, then 7, then 6 and 5 and so on, all the way down to 1. Now, how long does that take to see results? Well, practice each movement for about 1 to 3 months depending on your current level and how often you train, and you will see tangible progress. And remember that you want to progress to the harder variation only when you've nailed the current one. Also, remember to train your full body while you train the pull-up. You can't just train pull-up. So a solid split could look like day 1 could be pulling, day 2 could be pushing, and day 3 could be your legs. And ideally, add an extra pull day to that mix to get 4 workout days per week. That's the best way to see faster results. Now remember that getting your first pull-up isn't just a flex. It's a very important step towards a stronger version of yourself. It teaches patience, body awareness, and grit. And if you're serious about building strength through calisthenics, the pull-up is your rite of passage. If you're struggling with pull-ups and you don't have access to the right setup to practice them, then this video is for you. I'm going to show you the best equipment for pull-ups that you can use at home, in the park, or on the go. And whether you're a beginner or already been training, these tools will help you build serious pulling strength faster and smarter. So let's break it down. First scenario is you don't have any equipment at all. And you can start with chairs and or a door frame. Just 2 sturdy chairs will help you practice what we call Australian rows, and you can also do standing pull-ups with a doorway ledge if this is all you have access to. Both of these movements are going to engage your back while training scapular control and basic pulling patterns. You'll activate the same muscles that you're using in a pull-up, and that's going to help you build stability and awareness that you need to get to the bar. Now when you're ready to level up your game, we can go to option 2, which is a doorway pull-up bar. That's going to be your first real investment, and it's very affordable and worth every dollar. It will help you train your grip, lats, biceps, and shoulders. It's very simple to install, doesn't require any drilling or any permanent setup. You can put it on, take it off anytime you want. You can find dozens of online options, but make sure that you choose one with a sturdy frame and wide grip variety. You also want to make sure that there are non-slip pads to protect your door frame. That's a very important detail. Otherwise, your door frame might get damaged. I recommend this one right here. I also have an online store where you can find all sorts of good calisthenics equipment for a very decent price. Now let's move on to option 3. And if you have more space or want something that you can take outdoors, go for a stand-alone pull-up bar. That's a game changer because this freestanding structure doesn't require any doorway. It's perfect when you need a little bit more range of motion, a little bit more freedom. You can also practice other movements such as front lever and do a little bit more of explosive work. It can also support accessories like rings or resistance bands. It's a little bit more versatile than your typical doorway pull-up bar. These bars are ideal if you're trying to build a home gym or want a permanent training solution. I recommend this one. It's really sturdy. My clients have been very happy with this one. Now, let's talk about option 4, and that would be gymnastic rings. They're the ultimate versatile tool. And if you want to take your calisthenics game to the next level, that's going to be a game changer. So get yourself a pair of gymnastic rings. They're light, portable, and they offer insane training potential. They force you to stabilize every single rep, building deeper strength and control. It's perfect for pull-ups. You can also do rows, but you can also do dips, push-ups, core work, and even train your legs with it. It can be attached anywhere, from a tree to any pole, like a basketball court pole, any kind of bar, or anything that would allow you to anchor the rings. Unlike the fixed bars, the rings are going to move freely. So that means that every rep is going to require more focus, more core activation, and a lot more joint stability. If your goal is to build true functional strength and mobility, then rings are a must-have. And here's a pro tip. I would always recommend to choose wooden rings over plastic. They're more comfortable, they offer a better grip, especially when you're sweating, and they have a more natural feel. Now, let's talk about the missing part of the puzzle, and we're talking about resistance bands. They will help you with pull-ups and a lot more. Resistance bands aren't just for stretching. Here's what you can use them for. First, assisted pull-ups. You just want to loop a band over the bar and put them under your feet to reduce your body weight and build up confidence and full range of motion. Reduce the thickness of the band little by little as you get better until you don't need any band at all. And second, they could also be a pull-up substitute. If you're somewhere without any access to any equipment, you can do standing and sitting front pulls. Bands come in a variety of resistance level, so you can scale your assistance to get stronger. They're compact, lightweight, and perfect for travel. So here's a quick recap. First, if you're a beginner and have access to no equipment, just simply start with a couple of chairs and a doorway ledge. That's going to be a great way to start working on your scapular activation and back strength. Then the second step would be a doorway pull-up bar that will help you for that full hanging pull-up motion, which will be a great step forward. Now we have the standalone pull-up bar that offers a little more sturdy option. The third option is the gymnastic rings. When you're more advanced, it's great to work your pulling, but you can also work an entire full body calisthenics workout with it. Very versatile. I highly recommend to get a pair of gymnastic rings. And last but not least, the resistance bands to support and enhance your journey. They can be used as a warm-up tool, as a resistance tool, as an assistance tool. They're really a must-have. You can never go wrong with getting resistance bands. Make sure to get a light, a medium, and a heavy one. So whether you're just starting or working towards your first pull-ups or muscle-ups, investing in the best equipment for pull-ups is very affordable and always pays off. If you're stuck after one pull-up and can't do any more after that, then this video is for you. Today, we are going to talk about what to do next to keep progressing after you've achieved your first pull-ups. And here's step one. You want to get really good at that first pull-up. Because remember, we're not here to do sloppy reps. We're here to get good form, and one perfect pull-up is worth 10 bad pull-ups. So here's what you want to focus on. First, your hollow body position. That means you need to engage your core, your pelvis. You can't let your butt stick out when you do a pull-up, so you want to keep it inward and keep your leg together and focus on that form while doing your movement. Second is you want to control your movement. So that means no swinging, no kipping, no momentum, as clean as possible, and try to get better at this as you progress. Then we move on to step number 2, and this is to do more reps. So once your form is on point, it's time to stack those reps. And to give you an example, a beginner set would be from 3 to 5 reps for a man, 2 to 3 reps for a woman. And from this beginner sets, you can progress to intermediate, advanced, and even elite with time. Anybody can get there. It's only a matter of work. So if you can only do 1 or 2 clean pull-ups right now, then do those clean reps and continue your sets using your resistance bands when you feel that your form is starting to decay. The goal is to delay the use of the band to as late as possible. So if now you have 1 or 2 reps, then you do that, and then maybe in a month you'll have 3 to 4 reps, and you keep doing that until you don't need the band at all. And if you can already do 5 solid pull-ups, then your next goal should be 10. And then from there, 15, you want to keep climbing because every rep is a statement and every rep matters. Now let's move on to step number 3, and it's change your grips. The bar is your playground, and different grips will activate different muscles and build strength faster and keep training fun. So try those 3 grips. The first is the wide grip, so as wide as you can on the bar. This one will give you more back activation. Then you can practice a narrow grip where you try to get your hands as close as possible. And the third one is the chin-up grip, so the palms are facing you. And that will engage more biceps and feel a bit easier if you're a beginner. The goal is to rotate through those grips across your training week because a grip variety equals better growth. Now here is step 4. You want to play with tempo during your reps. You want to speed it up, slow it down, pause mid-reps. Tempo is your secret weapon. So you can go for explosive reps to build power. You want to go as fast as you can on the way up. You can do slow negatives, which builds control and muscle endurance. So that means go as slow as you can on the way down. You can also do isometric holds, which build raw strength and mental grit. That means you want to hold anywhere in your rep for as long as possible. For example, try this. You pull up, you pause at the top for 3 seconds, and then you slowly lower down for 5 seconds. Or here's another option. You do the same thing. You do your pull up, pause at 3 seconds at the top, then you pause at 3 seconds in the middle, and then you pause at 3 seconds in that last dead hang. And that's 1 rep. So get good at those. Now here's step number 5. You want to add complementary moves because pull-ups are incredible, but you can't just do pull-ups. You have to support your progress with other exercises as well. And the first one is the rows. Inverted rows, ring rows, train your horizontal pulling. This is a move that's very underrated, but will be a great complement to your pull-up training because it will build a different angle in your back. The second one would be a front lever raise. It develops your core and your lats. Is the foundation move for advanced calisthenics. If you can't do this one right now, you can use a resistance band that's strong enough to support you. This move is similar to a lat pull down that you may have done in the gym before. And last, we have the Superman and Scorpio holds. It will strengthen your posterior chain and it's great for posture and injury prevention. And together, all these moves will create balance. You get stronger back, better posture, and overall more pull-ups. But eventually remember that to get strong overall, you need to train your entire body regularly to get real lasting results. So make sure to include movements like push-up, dips, squats, lunges, and daily abs to your weekly routine. This is very important. That will benefit your pull-ups as well. I also made a video on how to start calisthenics as a total beginners, including all the moves that I just mentioned. You'll find the link in the description below. If you want to get better at pull-ups, this video is for you. Today we are going to go over a 12-week workout plan to double your pull-ups. You would use the workout plan that we're going to talk about every other day. So that means that day 1, day 2, and day 3 are done every other day. In between those days, you would do a push and or leg workout to complement your week. Let's start with day 1. Day 1 is where we go for max repetitions. This is the day where we go for 5 sets of your maximum reps. This means that you have to keep good form through all the sets and reps and not keep for it to count. Note that you can also use a light band towards the end of your session if your strength starts to be low. And make sure to rest 3 to 5 minutes between each of your max sets to make sure you maximize recovery and your performance. Now let's move on to day 2. Day 2 is the triple descending ladder. So that means that we're going to start at a certain number and we're going to go all the way down to the finishing line. And the idea is that you want to take 80 to 90% of your max reps and do 3 sets of that amount. Then continue that and descend from there. You want to take about 1 or 2 minutes between set and 3 to 5 minutes between each ladder. Let's take an example. Let's say you can currently do 6 pull-ups. 80% of that would be around 4 to 5 repetitions. So the plan would be 5 reps, 3 sets, then 4 reps, 3 sets, then 3 reps, 3 sets, then 2 reps, 3 sets, and then finish with a max dead hang for 3 sets. The key here is to maintain solid technique. Again, no kipping and going for full range of motion or as close to it. If your form starts to break down, then your set is a wrap, or you can use a light band to finish your reps for that set. Take 30 to 60 seconds between each set and 3 minutes between each ladder because recovery is crucial. Adjust accordingly depending on where you're starting and try to move up from there. Now let's talk about day 3. Day 3 would be an ascending ladder with isometrics. So on day 2, we went down the ladder. On day 3, we go up the ladder. This is a classic workout scheme where you start with 1 repetition and you work your way up from there. The trick is that you have to hold each last rep at the top of the pull-up for the amount of seconds matching your rep count. For example, you would do 1 repetition, hold 1 second at the top. 2 repetitions, hold 2 seconds at the top. And so on until you reach 5+ repetitions. So you keep climbing up the ladder until fatigue starts knocking at the door and you can't go anymore. If you can't go all the way up to 5 repetitions yet, stop at 4 and start a new ladder after that. The goal is to get 3 to 5 ladders done within the workout. Rest 30 to 60 seconds between each set and 3 to 5 minutes between each ladder. This 12-week program is guaranteed to work and boost your max pull-ups. The key in this game is consistency, so stick to the program for at least 12 weeks and get ready to see a 50 to 100% increase in your max pull-ups. Remember that the better you become, the harder and a bit longer the workouts are going to be, so make sure you make the time for this. But it's a solid timeline and the result will speak for themselves. If you are wondering how to get your first muscle up, then this video is for you. Going over the bar or the muscle up is one of the most iconic movements in calisthenics and has put the sport on the fitness map. And despite being very hard to achieve, it has become very mainstream on social media and everybody wants to do it. But think about it. How many of your friends and family can actually do a muscle up? And the answer is probably not that many. And today we're going to explore a step-by-step training plan to unlock your first muscle up. The secret is to break down the movement into different sections and train them until you feel comfortable with each part. And in this video, I'm going to break down how to master the movement with a detailed workout plan and some tips from my online calisthenics course. But first, let's address the first prerequisite. You have to be able to do sets of 15 to 20 pull-ups in order to start to train for the muscle up. And if you are not able to do that many pull-ups yet, then that means you have to increase your pull-up strength and you got to train for that and be great at that. And I made a video on how to get better at pull-ups just right here. So now that you're good at pull-ups, let's dive into every specific exercise to achieve your first muscle up. The first thing we're going to train is called the takeoff phase. The muscle up is actually a circular pulling movement. You're going around the bar, not directly through the bar. So it's similar to rowing. So the first phase of the muscle up involves a slight swing to initiate the circular pull up around the bar. So your initial movement or pulling is going to be called a diagonal pull up. And here's how to start. You want to hang under the pull-up bar and begin by retracting your shoulder blades together and then bringing them forward as if you were performing a mix of cable lat fly and a lat pull down at the same time. This is a combo movement that will set the foundation for the swing. By doing that, you're going to go slightly forward and then back, and that's where you start pulling backwards, and that's going to initiate a diagonal angle. To make the movement a bit easier to start, you can also kick with one leg forward slightly at the same time that you're doing the lat fly to increase the swing. And then the goal is to go as high as possible on each diagonal pull that you get from there. You want to keep your abs tight and avoid arching while swinging forward. That's crucial. So keep your pelvis tilted back and engage your core and ribs as you're doing the movement. As far as volume, you want to practice 3 to 5 repetitions and do at least 5 sets. That will set up a good foundation and help you take off high in order to master the movement. Then the second movement we're going to practice after the takeoff is the pulling phase. So this block is going to focus on building explosive pull-up strength. This involves practicing explosive pull-ups to get your chest to the bar. The idea is to perform sets of 5 to 10 pull-ups where you bring the bar to your chest each time. This will build the explosive power needed to build the muscle up. You want to practice about 3 to 5 repetitions and do 5 to 10 sets of explosive pull-ups. Make sure that you're excellent at this movement. This will really set the foundation for a good movement because the muscle up is essentially a high pull-up. After the pulling phase, you want to work on the third element, which is the transition phase. The transition from pulling to pushing is crucial, and that's usually where people are the weakest. This phase requires practicing mid-range hangs and short-range pull-ups. And the best exercise you can do in that case is what I call the chin-to-chest pull-up. The idea is to hang at the top of a pull-up with your arms bent past 90 degrees, and you want to bring the bar from your chin to the chest. So it's going to be a short range of motion pull-up where you exert a lot of force going from mid-range to the other mid-range. And you'll see that keeping in that short range is going to burn the transition muscles. During this transition pull-ups, you want to focus on bringing your elbows above the bar at the top of the movement. You also want to focus on resisting the descent on that short range. You want to resist as hard as you can to get back to the chin level. And in terms of volume, try to do 3 to 5 repetitions, and here again, 5 to 10 sets. So now you've covered the takeoff, the pulling, and the transition phase. So you're really on your way up. And now you have to practice the pushing phase, which is the essential final phase of the movement to complete the muscle up. And the best way to do this is to practice the single bar dips. The idea on the single bar dips is that you want to perform repetitions without touching the bar. You want to leave as much of a gap as you can between you and the bar and make sure that you're able to rep about 15 single bar dips and focusing on being explosive on each rep to finish your muscle up strong. In terms of volume, try to do sets of 15 to 20 repetitions and go for 5 sets. So now you've covered the 4 essential elements of the muscle up itself, and now you want to put it in practice in the real world. So the best thing to do is to do a muscle up with a band. Using a resistance band can help you practice the full movement without hurting and help you progress. You want to train with the bands to feel the movement and get better at it, and start to lower the amount of resistance that you use week after week to get better at it until you don't need a band at all. The idea is to go for 3 to 5 repetitions of the full movements and try to do 5 sets every time you practice. So last but not least, you have the negative muscle ups. And these will help you control the descent and build strength for the full movement. And the beauty of it is that you don't need a band for this. In order to do it, you want to get on top of a bar with a pull over movement where you roll over the bar and practice the muscle up descent only. If you can't do a clean pull over, you can also use a resistance bands to get on top of the bar and then dismiss the band and do the descent without any assistance at all. Control the descent and avoid touching the ground with your feet until you are in the full dead hang. In terms of volume, do 3 to 5 repetitions and 3 to 5 sets of the negative muscle ups until you get really comfortable with it. These are the 6 main elements of the muscle up that you want to train in order to get over the bar and start to get good at it. And don't forget that while focusing on the muscle up, you can't forget on maintaining your calisthenics foundations. You want to train the muscle up about 3 times per week and continue working on every other foundational exercise like pull-ups, dips, push-ups, squats. Don't forget the lower body. It's very crucial as well. And also make time for proper mobility work and recovery to prevent injuries. Now, if you're ready to take your training to the next level, I also have a full muscle up program on the online calisthenics app. Come train with me, join the online calisthenics academy. And in the meantime, I will see you in the next video.